If your clients are behaving as if we're in a recession, does it matter whether or not we actually are? As social demographer Mark McCrindle explains, years of negative headlines and increases in cost of living have taken their toll on client confidence. What can the wealth community do to turn things around?
There's lots of commentary out there at the moment that we may be heading into a recession, but your research shows that we're already in a recessionette. What does that mean?
Well, it's the feeling of a recession, even if we're not technically in one. And certainly from a consumer sentiment perspective, Australians are already acting as though they're in recession. We're seeing them start to tighten their belts. We're seeing them change some of those shopping habits. And that's because they're feeling the rising interest rates, the rising costs of living. They're aware of global uncertainty. So it's got the feeling of a recession, recessionette, even if we're not actually in one.
What do you see as the knock-on effects of a recessionette for Australian households? And if you were in the wealth management industry, how might you think about that?
Well, firstly, whether we're actually in a recession or it just feels like one, the behavior is the same. It's interesting how behavior follows sentiment. Our actions follow our attitudes. So the attitudes are changing. There's uncertainty out there. Therefore, that's leading to a change right now in the consumer behavior. So I think it's important that we understand that hopefully in a time of uncertainty, anxiety, and complexity, financial professionals will be able to give that voice of reason. They'll bring the evidence. They'll offer clarity amidst the uncertainty of the times. They'll help the customer or the client see not to worry about this, and this is an area to get some better understanding on, and can provide that professional input. In times of uncertainty, as the clouds gather, that's when we need a professional who can give the evidence, who can give the direction and the clarity.
For all of those in the wealth management community, they're going to be talking to their clients not only about their financial futures, but they're also going to have to talk to them in a different way and really be more of a coach to help them get through these times.
Totally, because it's uncertainty that dominates at the moment, and we're emotional. We're not rational when it comes to finances and when it comes to understanding our context. And we're hearing some of the news, or we're seeing social media feeds, or we're hearing what others are discussing at the gym or beside us at work, and all of that creates confusion and certainly exacerbates that uncertainty that they face. And that's where the financial planner can come in, the advisor, and offer not just the professional input, but hopefully help them get their head in the right space and help them sift out the fake news from the real stuff and hopefully give them a bit more confidence moving forward.
So if you were actually running an investment management or a financial advice business today, what would you be focused on?
Well, we find that Australians tend to have a very immediate response to finances. Interest rates are up. That means, my repayments are going to go up, or perhaps, maybe there's going to be a global recession. Is my job safe? It's all the immediate stuff. But of course, financial advice has to guide people towards retirement. So we're thinking about, for some, many decades into the future. And I think that's where financial professionals fit. They can say, look, yes, the cost of living's going up, the grocery bill's going up, and you're feeling that. But let's also keep in mind how we get through the current time. But interest rates won't always be high, and the cost of living will decline. We do find that over time, inflation has its comfort band. We'll get back to that. So let's not lose the sight of our long-term retirement planning and some of these financial goals just for the sake of short-term reactions. That's the perspective, the long-term context that a financial professional can bring. And that at the moment is what Australians need, here and now, to keep in mind the longer-term goals that they have, and to have that multi-generational in mind. Australians do think about their children. Of course, they're concerned about them. They've got anxiety around, what might be their opportunities to get a foothold in the property market as well. And I think rather than just have that as a worry and throw our hands up and say, oh, my kids will never be able to afford a home, I could hardly afford it, we can say, well, there are plans we can set in place, but it's not going to happen through worry, and it's not going to happen with hope. It's only going to happen with good strategies in place.
If the wealth community is to take anything away from this conversation, what are the top 3 things that you would advise?
Well, firstly, to remind themselves and the client that they are professionals and accredited, and that, therefore, in a time of uncertainty and ambiguity is so important. That's the starting point, unlike all the other input that this client might be getting. Secondly, they can look at the personalised situation of the client. This is where you are, this is where you want to get, and they have the strategies, the training, and the resources to really sketch out that plan. And thirdly, they can encourage that client through other case studies. As professionals, you've been here before, you've had lots of other clients that have also felt uncertain about the future, felt like they probably couldn't get to where they wanted to get, but you've got them there. And some of those case studies, some of those anecdotes will build encouragement, will show this client that they too can get there, because you as a professional have been able to get others there as well. The case studies are important. It personalises their current situation and gives encouragement that they too can succeed.